So anybody watching this video right now, except for like my very, well, only friend that watches my videos, might know that I'm a very avid gamer. I actually wanted to do a couple video games reviews. Video games reviews. I actually wanted to do a couple video game reviews back when I was doing my reviews, and I was actually working on one for KH3 when uh, everything went down. But that I digress. And one of my favorite games of all time for a long time was Overwatch. And back in June of last year, I quit Overwatch altogether. I stopped playing it. I became so tired of constantly being forced to do things I didn't want to do. For the longest time, the only version of Overwatch that was worth playing was the competitive because it was the only thing that gave you something extra besides the experience. And a lot of you might be going, well, if you like the game, then the experience should be all you need. But games that have a repetitive type of mindset, MMO type things, where you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, have to give you some kind of goal to work for. For Overwatch, that's the golden guns or an SR cap that you're hoping to hit. I mean, everybody probably wants to be Grandmaster, but we can't all be Grandmaster. So maybe you've got your set sights, your sight. As you can tell, I am on the ball today. Maybe you've got your sights set on plat or diamond or what have you. And there was this constant um, irritation about playing competitive to the point where I was in mid gold. Um, and at one point, I got so tired of having to switch into roles, taking support mainly, that while I knew how to play, I didn't know how to play. I'm not a good tank. I'm not a good support. And when you're looking at the SR of it, I'm a gold DPS but a silver support, a silver tank. And I had found myself constantly having to jump into those roles in order to try to keep the team balanced. And when goats showed up, I essentially gave up all hope. In the lower elos, the meta doesn't really actually matter. It doesn't get played, but there were still people trying to play it. And I think Goats is probably the most played meta in the lower elos when it was a thing. So where am I going with this? Well, I think it's pretty obvious that I ended up just giving up. And I went from mid gold to bronze because I just stopped filling. I stopped playing support. I stopped playing tank. I stopped being in team chat. I stopped listening to audio cues. I just hopped in the competitive and played the game. And I was more than likely, actually, I'm going to say I was probably 90% of the reason that I started just losing games rapidly because I was essentially throwing. I was trying my best, but I refused to switch off DPS because that's the role I was comfortable with. I refused to try to interact with the community and be kind and be happy and be positive. And I lost a lot of what I loved about the game to the point where I put it down. I was playing both PC and PS4. I put both down. I stopped playing. I was done. I was. It didn't matter to me anymore. It didn't matter to me what happened to this game. So, from July, rewind to about a month and a half ago, my brother, who also had quit playing the game, re downloaded it. Said, I'm not playing competitive. I just want to play quick play. Come join me. I said, you know what? That sounds great. Um, Baptiste was, a couple months old. I was ready to try him. I had seen the videos. I still kept up with the community. And so I was like, you know what? I want to go play Baptiste, which I know might contradict a lot of my statements, but I like to play all the new heroes. In fact, I'm super psyched for Sigma. I can't wait to try him. Maybe he'll be a tank that gets me into the tank role. Who knows? So I really dived in to the quick play, and then 222 was announced. Now, to put what I'm about to tell you into perspective, I hated the idea of 222. Back when back when I was playing, 222 was this like foreign thing to me because the way I thought about it was that Overwatch was meant to be played like it's played now, where you can swap off to any hero to do counters and etc. 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 But then my brother and I jumped into competitive against our instincts, right? And as soon as we jump in, my brother, who is a support main, picks Ana, and I pick Soldier. I think I hadn't played Soldier in a while. I'll go ahead and pick Soldier. And the other 4 slots instantly lock DPS. So I had to switch off. I mean, we're playing competitive, but I'm playing to win. So I switched off. I switched to Rhine. And died. A lot. Mostly because I'm a bad tank. But also because the only one that was there to heal me was my brother. And Ana's a great healer, but she can't heal everybody. So he switches to Moira in an attempt to do crowd healing. It's not working. He switches to Brig so he could just play with me. It's not working. We're getting our asses kicked. And this kept happening game after game after game after game. And for someone like me, it really started destroying me. And then I started to realize why 222 was so important. It was so important because you will finally get to play the game the way you want to play it. You're no longer going to have to force yourself to play roles you don't want to play. If you log on as a support main and 2 people pick DPS and 3 people pick support, well, you can't just pick support, right? At least not in your mind. You got to pick something else. You got to go tank. And the way Overwatch works, the 3 roles work in tandem with each other. And there's no, the roles aren't interchangeable, right? That's what the roles are for. Tanks are crowd control, space makers. DPS are damage dealers, frag makers. Supports are enablers. They enable the other 2 roles. And it becomes this really insane idea among the community where they all reach the point I did. Nobody's ever in team chat. Nobody ever communicates. People probably aren't even listening. They just want to play what they want to play, and they're only playing competitive because of the competitive points and the gold guns. And for a while, the solution that a lot of us had come up with was to get rid of gold guns, get rid of competitive points, make playing ranked only there for the sake of playing rank. And instead, they came out with 222. And after watching the Overwatch League and booting up my potato of a computer to try to play on the PTR, which I did get to play a little bit, but my computer just fucking horrible. 222 is what we've always needed. It should have been in the game a long time ago. Personally, I'm happy for it. I'm excited. And it's why I'm coming back to Overwatch permanently. My brother got me to come back temporarily, but I'm coming back permanently. And once I get this new job, I'm going to go get myself an Elgato, and I'll start making video game related videos. Something I've always wanted to do. But the second part of this video is what else needs to be done. Because Role Queue 222 is probably, definitely, the biggest step forward that Overwatch could have made. Blizzard made such a great decision adding 222 to this game. It is the largest leap forward they could have possibly made. And some of the things that I'm going to talk about in a bit may cease to be a problem with 222. I don't know. Again, I haven't been able to experience it fully. It comes live in 3 days. So here's to hoping, right? The biggest problem with ranked is one that cannot be fixed. It just can't. Throwers, leavers, Smurfs. My theory, is that the last one will be taken care of with 222, at least for the most part. With 222, there is literally no reason for a Smurf to exist, right? Because most Smurfs, 92% of Smurfs, maybe, I'm just pulling a number out of my ass. Most people who Smurf say that they do it so that they can play with their friends. Well, nobody's good equally on every role, right? I don't care how much you think you are. Nobody's good equally on every role. There's going to be a role, at least one, that's lower than the rest of them. And so now, if you want to play with friends, you just play the role that you're worst at to play with them. And maybe they rank up and you get to play with them on your other roles. I don't fucking know. But the greatest thing about that is that a lot of the Smurfs are going to go away. But that still leaves the throwers, the leavers, and the general toxicity. One of the biggest problems in ranked is the outstanding amount of toxicity that there is. And BTC actually has a really good solution for helping the report system. I'll probably link to his video down below. I really enjoyed how he put that. But the biggest problem is that nobody actually uses their report system, right? Or if they do, it's to be toxic in and of themselves. So the community as a whole needs to gather together to report throwers and leavers and just toxic behavior. There's literally a drop down that says abusive chat. If someone's constantly calling someone an idiot, telling them that they're doing this wrong and that wrong and everything wrong, report them for abusive chat. And some of you might be thinking, well, I tell my teammates that they're wrong. Well, that's part of the problem. And I'll make another video on how to win more games, because the truth of the matter is that when I make a video, it comes to it, if I ever make a guide to Overwatch, I'm going to be speaking to the rest of you low elo players as a low elo player, right? So it's not going to feel like the masters and grandmasters from on high come to tell us peasants how it's done. I'm telling you things from the perspective of someone in your rank, right? But we'll do that later. Right, so your attitude needs to be more positive. That's just the shortened version of that video. But moving on. The other thing is that the SR system is broken. It's completely shattered. So performance-based SR is something that exists in bronze to plat. The last I've heard. I think it's still there. I think still got removed for diamond and above. I'm not sure. I never heard anything different. But it's still there for bronze to plat. Performance SR is a stupid fucking idea, because the way it works is it is fundamentally designed to fuck you over, in that you can have 3 games, where you gain 10 SR a game and then you lose 1 and you lose 40 SR, right? So now you've lost an hour of your life. And part of the problem I had with competitive back then, besides the thing that 222 is fixing, is I would bust my ass, before I started giving up, obviously. I would bust my ass, I would communicate, I would do this, do that, do this, do that. We would win, we'd go win, 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 lose, win, 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 lose, win, 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 lose. We'd have all these wins and 3 losses, and then I'd be right back where I started. Because you lose so much in relation to how much you gain. And it's not really a fair system, because there are 6 people on a team, right? So if one person is a thrower, or they leave, or they're being so toxic they're tilting the rest of the team, then all of a sudden it's not your fault you lost. So I think performance-based SR needs to be removed, because it does not help the motivation of people to get better, to try to win, when it's so defeating to see all your hard-earned points go away for 1 loss. Now, this isn't always the case. I was playing today and I managed to climb about 40 to 50 SR, because I would win a few games and then I wouldn't lose as much. But the performance-based SR system doesn't really tell us. I don't know how it works. Do you know how it works? Nobody fucking knows how it works. And anybody who tells me they do is wrong, right? Because if it's performance-based, that means kills, accuracy, etc., etc., all count, right? So if I have one game where I win and one game where I lose, and I do very, very similarly between the two, let's say in the winning game, I got 30 kills and 52% weapon accuracy and some good objective time, right? Like 36-second objective time, whatever. That's not good objective time, but you know what I mean, right? And then in the game, and so I gained 15 SR from that. Well, that's pretty baller. But in the game I lose, I got 28 kills and 37 seconds objective time, and my weapon accuracy was 46%, right? And I lose 30 here. Gain 10, lose 30. I only did slightly worse here. So the performance-based SR doesn't make sense to me. And I found out later that it compares you to other people playing that hero. So essentially, what people used to do, and I don't see it as much anymore in my elo, but what people used to do in my elo is go find the lowest picked rate character, which was Bastion, right? And they would find one that they liked out of like the bottom 5, and then they would just one trick them to absolute infinity. Because then the games you won with them, you would gain stupid amounts of SR because you weren't being compared to as many people, right? If you get 15 kills on Tracer, you're going to get more if you get 15 kills on Bastion, you're going to get more kills than the guy who got 15 kills, more SR than the guy who gets 15 kills on Tracer, because the pick rates of those two characters are vastly different by a large margin, and there's not as many people playing Bastion, and that was a way to cheese the system. So coming back to Overwatch, what I would like to see them implement next is getting rid of performance-based SR and maybe giving us an idea about how the system actually works. If you're gonna keep the performance-based SR, give us a breakdown of how it does it. How does it decide how much SR you gain? Let's take something like Apex Legends, for example, which is a game I'm fucking addicted to. I love Apex Legends. I hate battle royales in general, but Apex Legends is great. It's one of the ones I've enjoyed the most. Let's take Apex Legends. The ranking system in Apex Legends is quite possibly the best ranking system I've ever come across. It is all laid out for you. You get a certain amount of points for a certain amount of kills and certain placements, and you lose a certain amount of points just for, jumping into the game at a certain rank. It is all laid out. That's not to say there's not improvements in Apex Legends system that can be made, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the fundamental part there. Everything is laid out. I know going into a game what the risks and what the rewards are, right? I can go suicidal, try to go for as many kills as possible so I can gain as much rank points as possible. Or I can play it passively, get to a certain placement, and get that many rank points. Get that many rank points. But in Overwatch, I'm flipping a fucking coin. I jump into the competitive system, and I'm like, all right, I'm either going to lose 50 SR or gain 15. Let's see what happens. Lose 50. Ah, damn. That's another 4 days of fucking work. You understand what I'm going for here? Right? You're rolling the dice every time. Now, 222, again, will probably help this so much because the games are going to be more balanced, right? You're not going to win every game because of 222. I think that's part of the problem. Everybody is like people who are against 222 think that those of us who are for it are thinking it's like some magic fix-it-all where we're going to just win every game. Obviously not. You can't win every game. But it's definitely going to be better, right? People who are queuing up for these roles chose these roles going in, right? Whereas if you queued up in competitive because you wanted to play Hanzo, and then all of a sudden you're stuck playing fucking Diva, well, you're aggravated now, right? And that causes people to not try as hard. I guess I'll pick tank. Oh man, nobody wants to play support. Oh, someone plays support. Lucio, fuck off. Now I gotta pick Mercy or Ana. People don't want to play outside the roles they're queuing up for. And it's discouraging, right? I've played a lot of games today. I didn't get to play DPS once. I played 13 games today. Won 10 of them, which I'm pretty proud of. I didn't get to play DPS once. I had to play healer and tank. mostly tank. I am so pumped because the games are going to be fun now, right? Right? That you're going to be playing against, yeah, you're not going to get the communication back. You're not going to, like, there's nothing that can force people to cooperate. But you're playing what you're comfortable with. You're playing what you want to play. And that's the biggest thing. Like, the people who found the most success ranking up in the old system were people who just played what they were comfortable with. 5 DPS? Fuck it, we're going to make it 6. Right? We only have one healer and it's me? Well, I'm comfortable playing support. I'm just going to play Zenyatta. I'm just going to play Reinhardt. No matter what, people played what they wanted to play, and those people would find the most success. You ever wonder why you see 4 insta-lock DPS? Because they're all wanting to play DPS, and sometimes those games would win. Not because the other team was necessarily worse, but because the other team would have people filling. You know, I can't count the number of times me on Zenyatta with 5 DPS would wreck a 2-2-2 comp on the other team because all of them are trying to fill roles they don't know how to play. Essentially, I've spent the past 21 minutes telling you guys this. 2-2-2 is going to save Overwatch. I'm not saying the game was dying, but I met a lot of people who were quitting that game because they were tired of it. They were tired of feeling like they never got to play what they want. 2-2-2 is the best decision it can make. But hey, if you guys want to hear from me about how I think you can win more games, no matter what, in lower elos, go ahead and let me know. I think I want to start making video game content from now on. It's pretty much my passion in life. Anyway, thanks so much for dropping by. My name's Kaiser, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.